today, this is our project. It's my backyard. As you can tell, there's a couple other projects over there. What happens when you run out of space during the springtime and you're doing a yard project too. But this, for the most part, looks pretty good. I started to trim that tree. Didn't quite finish it because of lack of tree dropping experience, but I will be paying to have that one done here shortly. So it's going to open up all this sunshine. This thing, though, probably is going to be staying because it is kind of nice in the summertime. Not, hey, look, bird, getting a worm. Anyway, so, and a bee's nest. I didn't knock that thing down. Anyway, so this is the project. Over here, so we background story this a little bit. We moved in here a few years ago. This, more or less, has not really changed a lot. And I just kind of been maintaining it. I knew I didn't want to keep it like this forever, but there's other important projects that I'm sure anyone who's ever purchased a new home will understand that you sometimes have to do. But this whole backyard area is actually pretty nice. This, I did put more grass in, however, this one was definitely not like that before. But the problem with this is this. This grass, for lack of a better term, is garbage. It looks good right now. I just got done mowing it. But this is the problem with it. Today is Saturday. I mowed this on Wednesday. And I mowed it at the second highest level, which is about 3¼ inches on my mower, maybe 3½ inches. And when I came out here this morning, because I've been working, it was over 6 inches. It grows too fast. The reason why it grows too fast we'll get into more detail later. But the other problem is the type of grass it is causing havoc with this. As you can tell, with that monstrosity of just POA everywhere. And not having a formal little area for going outside, barbecuing, having friends over has kind of been a damper. Because, well, yeah, you can have friends over and whatnot and be on grass, which would probably be in that general vicinity. It's just hard for the grass, and that dirt over there, I want to say, is disgusting. It's amazing that's growing over there. So, plan. This, bye-bye. That shed is going to be moved to right by the tree. All this section that you see here is going to be pavers until about where the corner of this grass is, and then it's going to kind of angle this way a little bit and go towards the fence. That way we can keep this going. I like the wisteria, planted that last year. Should be nice when the flowers actually start blooming. I might take a picture of that and post that later. And the other side's a creeping rose, which I actually got on the internet. Grew surprisingly well. But a lot of these plants we put in last year in an attempt to kind of maintain this. And let me explain last year. We gutted this place. Gutted. There wasn't a single plant out of place. There wasn't a single weed in here. I put pre-emergent down. It looked great last year. And then the fall time hit. That's when I ended up hurting my leg. And I couldn't quite get out here to do as much as I wanted to. And I can imagine, well, I'm sure you can imagine, these leaves are not necessarily easy to pick up. There's just a lot. Anyway, point to the story. I wasn't able to put pre-emergent down again, and then this happened. In literally a matter of one season. The weeds came, POA came. It's just bad. Over there is a attempt of a garden, but I don't know how well that's going to work out. I did plant that maple, that small one. It's actually doing pretty good. I like that type. It doesn't grow very fast. That's like 3 years old and probably grew like 6 inches. But other than that, it's just been the same since when we moved in. After the pavers, that way this kind of turns into more of a hardscape little area. The first year, however, I did put some drainage over here. Hopefully that's not blurry, because we're having water problems. So underneath here there is French drains. So luckily I won't have to deal with that. I will have to deal with French draining that section over there, because that one does not. In addition to hardscape, we're also going to build a fire pit. So this area is going to take up a good section of this channel in this next few weeks, months. Right now it's May something 10th, 9th? May 9th. I don't know when this is going to be uploaded, but probably shortly after May 9th. Maybe like the 12th or something. So what do we do first? First, I like some of these plants. I like these hostas. They grow very well here. Like I said, I'm in the Pacific Northwest. It gets hot in the summertime-ish, but this tree keeps it nice and shaded back here, so it never really gets all that hot. To be honest, sometimes it's nicer to be outside than inside if you don't have air conditioning, because of that tree. That's why I'm going to be keeping it. That tree, though, that's just bad. Branches fall off it all the time. It's the only reason why it hasn't gone earlier, just because if it did fall, it wouldn't really be hitting my house. Anyway, so first step is some of these plants, like those hostas, roses, that maple. Probably not today, that maple, but the ferns underneath it, definitely. Not that maple either, but I will be keeping that one. And I forget the name of them, but you know those plants that have yellow flowers in the springtime that kind of tell you when to put pre-emergent down? Those I'm going to keep as well. There's some back behind the maple. So I'm going to be, first step is to do this. I'm going to be completely redoing the lawn. So step one, take out those plants. And I have several large, medium, and small containers I'm going to be putting them in. I'm going to be putting them in a fairly shady spot that gets 3-4 hours of sun max, and watering them routinely just to keep them alive. But after that, everything besides the trees, including the pavers, is going to get glyphosated. All of it. Grass included. Not the garden, of course. That section in the corner, that'll be kept. Those ferns will be kept. That wisteria by that pressure washer will be kept. And anything beyond that fence, there is a kind of a farm back there. I live in fairly rural area, so that area is kind of like a dead zone, I want to say. There's no one really uses it. It just kind of sits there. I maintain it, but it's not really my property. I just maintain it. I'll probably will be doing the same over there, just to kind of keep it clean, but I won't be planting anything back there. In fact, let's go for a little walk. Let's go for a walk. So I guess, like all good things, everything looks better from far away. I mean, right here, it doesn't look bad. I mean, it's okay. I don't like that fence. That fence is going to be replaced here shortly. It's going to have not a wooden fence, but something a little bit more stout, not chain link. This area back here, maybe not this year, but potentially the fall, is just kind of like a dead zone as well. I'll be gutting this area out, recycling that stuff, and probably be putting a sump pump because it gets wet, and a small greenhouse, because in the winter time, obviously this is not full of leaves, so the sun goes here, so it's a good place to kind of start garden stuff and whatnot. And by the time this gets full, a lot of that stuff can be put in the garden anyway. So that's what I'm gonna use this area for. I might fill it a little higher though and put some like rock just to help increase drainage. But yeah, that's that back area. And mind you, that area over there is completely dead. 2 weeks ago. We're in the middle of a pandemic, so I've been oddly working from home. And working from home, you would assume you would have a lot of time, but you don't, because you're working from home, you're cooking from home, everything from home, so you have a lot of extra housework to do. So unfortunately, this has been neglected. But 2 weeks ago, there is not a single weed in here. Not a single one. And now look at it. 2 weeks. Apparently I have a rabbit problem. This doesn't surprise me. I have a cat, but she's getting old. I don't think she really is on the prowl for rabbits anymore. Okay, so let me kind of re-zoom in here real quick and see if I can show you this a little better. Okay, so this area isn't all that bad. It's tall fescue, primarily. Creepy Charlie. That you take, there's a special type of poison you can buy. It works pretty good. It kind of torches your grass for a while though. Or you can use something called boron or borax. It has boron in it. Has borax. Spray it and spray like 2,4-D on it, and it will kill it. Apparently, this type of plant is very intolerant to that type of mineral, and it kills it pretty good. The unfortunate part about that is the unfortunate part is unless you completely spray everything around, like feet around, you'll never get it all, so it comes back every year. At least for me. I've gone 10 feet around, and it still comes back. That's the problem when you mow 4 inches of grass in a day. So, let's get into a better lighting. There's more creepy Charlie. See this nonsense? This is what I deal with every year. This is POA. It never gets hot enough back here to kill it. As much work that I do to it, it never stops. So the only way I'm going to ever really get it to stop is by torching it all. As you can tell, it's just bad. I mean, it's everywhere. It's disgusting. It lays down bad. It looks bad. It's just not going to be something I'm going to be keeping. It's hard to mow. It does this. I mean, I stagger the time of how I mow, and it still leaves these tracks. It's just the bad grass. So, I guess my point being is, considering that this is mostly bad, and where I'm standing now is all going to be paver, this section. And right next to that, because I have a pretty significant hill, there's a hill right there. It makes it kind of hard to push a mower up there, even if it's self-propelled. So there's going to be a retaining wall that wraps around this tree, and then goes straight all the way down over there. And then this section is going to be grass. Currently, there's 3,600 square feet of grass or so, including the section over there. I'll be lowering it down to probably 26, 27, maybe 28. I didn't quite do the math on it exactly yet, but that will make it a little easier to mow. But the first step after doing these plants today is, like I said, glyphosate everything. What's going to happen is this. It will start to turn brown a little bit, and then it will turn brown. And then you mow it pretty low. And then you water it. Water it for like a week. If it's hot, if it's raining, don't bother. But if it's hot, water it. What that's going to do is it's going to leave all the seeds that have the opportunity to avoid being sprayed by the glyphosate or Roundup. That's a brand. It's not exactly the chemical in there. Glyphosate is what kills inside, what is used in Roundup to kill. So the glyphosate will then take all those new plants that are growing, primarily weeds or POA, and kill them again, or start to kill like the younger ones. And then you wait about 2 weeks, because I think the efficacy of glyphosate is about 10 days. After that, it's okay. Like, you could start planting, you could do a lot of pretty much anything at that point. But I'm gonna wait 14 days just to make sure. And if I see more weeds or a significant amount of weeds, I will be then spraying again. My problem today is it's windy, as you can tell. You don't want to spray, especially a glyphosate, in a windy environment. So I might not be able to spray today, but I will at least get the plants done today and then spray tomorrow, because tomorrow shouldn't be nearly as windy according to the weather report. And then that should be the end of this first section. The next video I'm going to do about this is showing the results and mowing the results, and then showing the watering. And then we'll do another one after. Then after that, I'll be planting seed. Of course, after doing the brick work, the seed I'm going to do a whole different type of video on. I don't want to say different way of doing it. I just don't like especially when you read the instructions on bags or online instructions, some of the methods. So I have a little bit of a different way. Just kind of, it's always worked out better for me. I've done 4 lawns with this now, I think, maybe. I mean, of course, there's dozens of patches and stuff like that, but 4 full new lawns. And one of them I'll show here shortly anyway, and you'll see that it's drastically improved and quicker response. Okay, well, that's going to be the first part of this one. This is a little informative video, kind of like a show and tell of my backyard and what I'll be doing to it. Hopefully you guys found that a little interesting, but I will go ahead and let you guys get going. I will get working. I'll see everyone later. Definitely like, comment, and subscribe, and see everyone later. Bye.